This video is to show you how to view your tasks, start working on those, and to pay the non-refundable deposit that is due by October 15th of 2024. When you first log in to your vcs.servicereef.com account, you need to make sure you are on My Dashboard. It should look something like this. You can see these options on the left-hand side, and then whatever trip you're part of should show up right here on the very top. So I'm using my husband going to Kenya as an example, but it will look the same thing for your students. I also want to note that if you log in as yourself, as the parent, then you might not be able to see this trip show up. But up here, if you set up the accounts correctly and you click on your profile picture, then you should be able to log in as your child in order to view their account as if you were them, and then you can start working on these things as well. Parents should have access to absolutely everything that the students are doing, and if they don't, go ahead and send an email to engage@valleychristianaz.org and we'll help you in getting that set up. So the very first thing we want to start looking at is our tasks. You can see that they have certain due dates here, and the blue links on the right hand side is what we want to focus on. So this first one is VCS agreements. So you can see that there's some sort of form. I can't just click the box, so I'm going to click fill form. So here it says, I have read and agreed to the policies stated in the policy guidebook posted at valleychristianaz.org/engage. So there is a document that you can download called the Engage Handbook, and we ask that every single family download that. It has lots of helpful information as well as what our policies are regarding phones, financial obligations, etc. The next part is the next part is a financial agreement. It says, by paying the $100 deposit, I acknowledge the financial commitment to engage. Refunds will not be given if the student is removed from the trip for any reason. All funds raised are gifts to the Engage program and will not be refunded. Any student who does not have their trip fully funded by the 100% deadline will have the remaining balance applied to their tuition account. We are being very strict on our financial deadlines this year, especially just to avoid students procrastinating to the last minute, feeling stressed out. In addition to that, we have lots of financial obligations from the Engage office early on in the process. So we need to make sure that we have money coming in so that we can buy our airline tickets, so that we can pay our ministry partners, etc. So once you have done and agreed to both of these things, you will click the box and push complete. Now once it loads, you can see that this green check mark is here and it says task updated. So we'll go back. And it goes back to our dashboard. It will take just a second for us to load Kenya back in here. But now you can see that that task is no longer here and it says tasks 1 of 9 because you just completed one of your tasks. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to pay that non-refundable deposit. So the important thing about the non-refundable deposit is that you have to have this in your account by October 15th, or you will risk losing your spot on the trip. Your $100 deposit lets us know that you're serious about the trip and you are not going to back up. Once we see that $100 in your account, then we say that you can only back out of a trip if there are extenuating circumstances. Now, yes, extenuating circumstances do come up, and those absolutely we make exceptions for that. But just because you change your mind, you decide you don't want to take the trip anymore, whatever the case may be, we really need you to be financially committed because we're already buying airline tickets for you. So once you put in that $100 deposit, you're telling us, hey, I'm in for this. So it says here, amount required $100, and we'll continue to payment. And this is how parents should always be making their payments for their students' Engage trip. So you can see here that you'll enter your name, your payment information, and then down here it's going to have the item. It's a non-refundable deposit paid to Kenya for your student, and it will say $100. Now, one thing I do want to point out is it's just as easy as filling out this form and pushing submit payment. Once I do that, it will actually credit, I believe it's $96.20 to this account because there are credit card fees. Now, there's nothing that I in the Engage office can do to allow the donor or the parent to cover the fees. So if you have $96.20 in your account for that non-refundable deposit, that is totally okay. We understand that there are fees, but in terms of raising the amount, you have to raise the cost of your trip in a total. So that $96.20 is what counts towards being raised towards the trip, not $100. Okay, if that's confusing, go ahead and send me an email at engage@valleychristianaz.org. But you'll see that once you push submit payment, I'm not going to do this here because my husband is not actually paying to go on this trip. But once you pay that, then we can go back to our dashboard and I can show you where you'll be able to see that the funds have been put automatically into your account. If you are returning from last year, this is much improved, that all donations are now live and easy to view in your account as soon as they're made. Okay, so here it says see all donors and it will say your fundraising progress. So had I pushed the submit payment, it would say $96.20 of that $3,500. So this is what I was saying about the credit card fees, is that no matter what, everyone needs to raise that $3,500. And that does not include the credit card fees. So now here, when I go to my donors, you can see the cost that's due, how much I have left, how much I have completed, and what the different deadlines are. Again, it's really important that we are meeting these deadlines, because if you do not meet the deadlines that are outlined here and in the Engage handbook, students are liable to be removed from the trip. So we do not want to risk that. You do not want to have $1,000 in your account but not be meeting your 70% deadline and be removed from your trip. So let's just make sure that we're meeting the deadline so we don't have to worry about that. Down here is where any of your donors are going to show up. So say that Grandma Sue decides to make a payment or a donation online. As soon as she does that, she will receive a receipt in her email that she used that says how much she donated and to whom. And here it will show up for the student that she donated to. Okay, so this is an option for you guys to view the information that you need for your donors. And it will all show up live on your dashboard. The last thing that I will show our students about and families about the donation is the personal fundraising page. So again, from our dashboard, when it loads here, we can see here, it says see my fundraising page. So I'm going to click on that. And here is your fundraising page that is specific to your student. It will have their name, their destination where they're serving, and the dates that they're going. And here is something that is automatically preloaded in by your chaperones for the trip. Other important information here is how many days there are left to donate, how much has been raised, and how much is remaining. And there's a donation box right here on the page that you can do easily. Now, what's really fun about this is that you can edit personalized content. So if I want to write something personal beyond just what my chaperone wrote, I can add that up here. So I can write my own story about why I chose Kenya, what I'm excited to do there, a little bit about me, maybe what my activities are in school, that kind of thing, just so that your donors can read and really feel that personal attachment to you when they choose to make that donation. And what's nice this year, again, if you were a repeat, then as soon as they make that donation, this will be reflected on the personal donation page. So this personal fundraising page is the link that you will want to send out to your donors. So if you have aunts, uncles that you want or think would be willing to donate to you, etc., families, friends, church friends, etc., then you will just send the link for this site to them, and then they will be able to donate, and they'll see that automatically reflected here. Okay, so that's the way that donations are going to work this year. We do still accept physical gifts, so let me pull up here. This is on our handbook that I mentioned earlier. This is on page 29, number 9. It says cash and checks are also accepted. Make sure that the student's name is notated on the envelope or memo line, and these can be dropped off in person at the front office. So if you are not the parent or the student yourself, you can receive a receipt for tax purposes. But remember that these gifts may take up to 2 weeks to process because they have to go through our development office, they have to go through our finance office, and then I have to manually load them into your child's ServiceReef account. So if you are concerned about the status of a physical gift, it has been at least a week or 2 weeks, then go ahead and send us an email at engage@valleychristianaz.org, and we'll make sure that we get that taken care of for you. All right, so that's all I have at this time regarding donations and payments. And if you have any other questions, you are always welcome to reach out to us. Thank you.